So just to move slightly from the test tubes and cells, what do neutralizing antibodies mean to the actual patient? Well, in a lot of these studies, you can see that in the early, so at baseline, before treatment, and in the first year, there isn't a real difference in the number of relapses people are occurring. And in fact, those who have neutralizing antibodies might even do better in the first year. However, when you follow up in year 2, 3, and 4, what we see is that the people who have neutralizing antibodies tend to start having more relapses. So it's not an immediate effect. We also then look at disability progression in people with neutralizing antibodies, and what we see is the curve starts separating out, and those who have neutralizing antibodies compared to those who don't start to have more progression. And also looking at MRI parameters, people who have sustained neutralizing antibodies are much more likely to have active MRI scans than those who are neutralizing antibody negative. So having that information and setting up the test that we had, the luciferase assay, we actually looked at 327 people with multiple sclerosis who were treated with interferon beta to see with our assay, were we getting the same information as in the published studies. So what we found was people with Avonex had low levels of neutralizing antibodies. People treated with betaferon, it was much higher, and again with Rebif. And these were similar to what had already been published. We also looked at the relapse rates in people in our cohort with neutralizing antibodies, and in the first year there was no real difference between them. The separation began in the second year, but really it was the third year and follow-up that the curves really separated apart, and we could see in our group that those with neutralizing antibodies were much more likely to relapse.